welcome to the Panda Paradise Launchpad AMA series, the year's 2022. I'm your host, Lum. Happy New Year, Panda fam. I'm super excited today to welcome our guests, MattG and Parker Smith of the Bloodshed Bears. Hi, guys. How are you guys doing?
Really well, Lum. How you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Parker?
Doing excellent. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay. Just a bit of housekeeping as we always start with. If anyone wants to participate at any time, feel free to raise your hand. But we do reserve the community section for the AMA towards the latter half. So in case I ask questions that cover from the community. And if you want to participate via text, we're going to be in the AMA text channel question. Yeah. So to kick off, MattG, I'll ask this of both of you guys. So tell us about your backgrounds and involvement in the crypto Web3 industries and how it led to Bloodshed Bears.
So, yeah, I guess long-term business owner and operator, sort of all over the world, and always had a keen interest in cryptocurrency, like everyone, no doubt, in this AMA. Really started to get into NFTs and what they were about sort of mid last year. I have to admit, with my own businesses, I was pretty focused and head down on those. But when you hear the movements that were happening in the space and how much I love technology, I had to sort of deep dive into it. Just almost immediately became fascinated and just dedicated to the space. I think it's the future. I love what's happening. I love the community that's being built around it. Decided to learn more, so jumped into 60 or so different projects to sort of learn how things were done and what are great projects, what are great communities, what are bad projects, and just fell in love with the space. And I'm an investor, I'm a holder, and just thought, with my background in business and my passion for gaming, why not look to put a great team together and see if we can't build a project that I can apply, I guess, my business background and build a business out of it, something that's long-term, not just a quick PFP project, but something that, we can really build and apply sort of more traditional business practices to Web3 and NFT land. And we've constantly pivoted and iterated based on feedback from our community and what's going on in the space. And that's sort of led us to recently a rebrand and a pivot into P2E. And that's sort of where we are today. And January really is where we start pushing things. We've really done nothing in the way of marketing or anything like that. So, and we're really fortunate. Parker super experienced in the space and, liked what we were doing. And we had a conversation. He was keen to jump on board. But I'll let Parker talk about himself. But, just to say we're so excited to have him in the team is an understatement.
Thanks for the introduction, Matt. So my background, I've been in the crypto industry since late 2017, early 2018. I've been trading crypto full-time for a year now. I've been working in the NFT industry for about as long. This will be my third project that I have worked with on a large capacity. I really wasn't even looking to work with another project, and I kind of stumbled across the Bloodshed Bears and what he was trying to accomplish, and got on a phone call with him and really was just taken by surprise with how well thought out and even how novel some of the ideas that he was trying to implement were, because as I'm sure we're all familiar, NFT space right now is just filled with a lot of copy and paste projects. You just put a different name in front of the word ape and then use a random art generator or, pay an artist $1,000 on Fiverr and you can have a collection and sell it out, maybe if you have the right marketing behind it. But when I found this collection, I really was impressed overall with the depth that Matt had gone into and the developers and what they wanted to try and accomplish and the ecosystem that they had planned for everything, and it was a no-brainer for me. It was something that I really wanted to be a part of. So I also was a founding member of the Chillin' Chameleons NFT project. We had a successful launch, sold out, been building our community from there. It's not a play to earn. It's actually just a profile pic. It's a little bit of my background. I'm from Chicago, born and raised. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to share a little bit more about this project and what we've got planned, and hopefully
Cool.
really let you guys see the project the same way that we do, and get a closer look at what's coming in the future for us.
Excellent. Thank you for all those answers. And yeah, I'm glad to hear that we're on the same time zone. I'm also on Central Time. So how many people do you guys have on the team now? I hear that Parker's joined relatively recently compared to the others. Like, what's the team size now? How many and what roles is everyone filling briefly?
So Mel's our artist. She's helped us with obviously all of the main collection, any of the animations, graphic artwork, and logos and all that sort of stuff. So she's leading all of that for us. In terms of the community and mod team, I would say we've got we're up to probably about 5 now, actively looking to bring more people on board as we continue to grow day by day. Developers, we've got 2 developers, so we're not working with a solo. They have both themselves worked on 2 sellout projects. They were and still are the sort of lead devs on Angry Boars and Angry Meerkats as well, and they built out their complete tokenomics and their own boar currency as well. So really amazing pedigree in terms of the development team, which we're blessed with, because obviously building out a game ecosystem isn't simple. So I'd say in total, I guess we're sitting now with Parker 6 or 7 in total, I would say, and growing in terms of the community management side of things.
Great. Okay. So like 6 or 7, and then plus the mod team. Is that right?
Including the mod team.
Oh, including the mod team. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and a quick aside for everyone in the audience. I believe we have is it a 24 or 48 hour window from the start of this AMA until that period afterwards where we are whitelisted for the MetaPass collection. Is that right?
Correct. So I guess in true NFT fashion, this is reasonably alpha from us. So we have literally only just announced, actually we haven't even done that yet, have we, Parker? We haven't even announced the MetaPass in our Discord yet. So as part of our rebrand, So there's been a couple of tweets going around, and I know a lot of Parker's network and community have been sort of made aware because of him joining and having a chat about what we're doing. But as part of the rebrand, we decided to drop a super exclusive collection of max 500 MetaPasses that we're just going to pack full of value as being sort of the earliest holders and earliest contributors to the project. So there's going to be a specific airdrop claim of our token. They get a free mint of the main collection. They're going to have exclusive mutations and breeding as part of the entire ecosystem we're building. So straight after this call, we're going to drop the announcement in the Discord. So anyone who joins from Panda Paradise, you'll be able to have a bit of a look at the artwork, which is incredible, and some of the content around that. And yeah, we'll happily, because you guys had us on the AMA this morning, or my morning, I should say, your afternoon and evenings, 48-hour period for anyone from Panda Paradise to come in and claim a whitelist spot for our MetaPass.
Super exciting. Oh, I love that juicy alpha.
If I could even just add to that, we will be announcing MetaPass formally in our own server later today. So interesting, I always want to say today, but today is already tomorrow for Matt, where he is. And so but later in the span of a few hours, we'll be releasing the official MetaPass announcement, the whitelist requirements, and basically how things will be transpiring as we go forward. But we did want to extend this to your community just as a thank you for your support. And we've seen the quality of community that you have here, and it's what we want to replicate in our own project. And we'll happily welcome everyone with open arms. This MetaPass collection, we're really just keeping it very small. We're keeping it very focused on value for the holders, so that the foundation that's being laid with these original 500 MetaPasses will be only the strongest, most dedicated, most interested, most loyal members in our entire server. And if we can really pack value into these 500 MetaPasses, which there's a maximum of 3 per wallet, meaning we'll probably only have 300 to 400 people that will hold any MetaPasses. These will really be trying to keep this collection extremely exclusive and value-packed, and it'll get you access to a free mint, airdrop of the tokens. We're even allowing, which is something that's very, very novel in the NFT industry, we're allowing people to actually prepay their MetaPass spot once they receive their whitelist. They can actually prepay to avoid any gas fee, war, anything of that nature. If they've decided that they want in on the MetaPass, they want their 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be, we're allowing people to prepay for their MetaPasses up front and then giving them an entire 24-hour window to claim whenever gas is at their lowest. Maybe the time zone is inconvenient for them with the drop time. You don't have to stay up all night fighting a gas war for a spot. You can be prepaid and then just leisurely claim your MetaPasses as it seems fit for you.
Yeah, Parker, let me jump in there. So for the 24-hour window, let's say somebody prepays, as you say. And so what happens after the 24-hour period? Would that be like the start of the public sale?
Yeah, so essentially what we'll do is we will have the prepaid round, which will be people that have already, and like as of now, we've had about 30 MetaPasses have already been prepaid just from my immediate community that I reached out to, to gauge interest, see how people felt about the idea of it. We got really good, strong, supportive responses from people. So we've already prepaid about 30 of them, and we're continuing to now fill a whitelist. So everyone that gets on this whitelist will have the opportunity to prepay when they fill out their whitelist form, including their wallet, what other information. So you'll have a place in there where you can opt to either prepay or wait until the launch goes live and then mint your mint in the whitelist from there. Now the prepay window will be, let's say, a 24-hour window where anyone can come through and claim their prepaid spots. After the 24-hour window is up, then the whitelist spots will open. So for everyone that earned a whitelist spot but opted not to prepay, then they will be opened up first. And then if the collection were to pass through the whitelist phase and not be sold at 100% capacity, then it will move into a public sale phase. Although with the current interest level that we've been receiving, we honestly are not anticipating that there will be more than a handful left after we finish the whitelisting process, or after the whitelist mint is concluded.
I see. Yes, I agree. Okay, so let's talk more about the details of the MetaPass utilities then, and like if you guys have any dates. Is it different from the mint price that you have on the website for the Gen 0 Bears, 0.07? Give us some details about the MetaPass that you can.
And Matt, do you want to take this one, or would you like me to? I don't want to steal all the spotlight here.
Oh yeah, we can't hear you yet, Matt. I don't know, since you got rugged earlier.
While Matt is trying to figure out his connection here, I can just go ahead and address this. So yes, answer the first question. Will the price be different? Yes. So the MetaPass we are offering at 0.1 ETH, the utility will entitle you to 1 free mint, which will be claimed prior to even the pre-sale of the Gen 0 collection. So the Gen 0 collection will have a whitelist of its own. It will have a public sale, and then there will actually be a MetaPass pre-sale that comes before even the Gen 0 whitelist. So during that MetaPass pre-sale, you will be entitled to your 1 free mint and will get access to purchase additional bears on top of those you hold MetaPasses for if time comes and you're looking to pick up extra of the Gen 0 collection. Along with this, for the whitelist or for the MetaPass in particular, you will receive the free mint, which is already worth 0.07 ETH. And then you will receive the earliest access to mint the Gen 0 collection. You will receive the earliest access to mint the Token Generator and Treehouse collections, which will be major factors in your ability for staking and then stacking NFTs for your passive earn, as it is a play-to-earn ecosystem. So you'll get the earliest access to both of those collections as well, which will increase your passive yield of the BLD tokens as the ecosystem continues to grow and new members come in and more BLD tokens are circulated. Along with this, once the BLD token is launched, you will be able to claim an airdrop of additional BLD tokens for all MetaPass holders, and that will be an additional drop per MetaPass. So all of this, again, is per MetaPass. Let's say you were to hold 3 MetaPasses. You'd have 3 free mints. You would have all 3. You would have triple the opportunity to mint an extra Gen 0 bear in the pre-sale, an extra token generator, an extra treehouse, everything in the pre-sale. You'll be able to claim 3 times the token airdrop when the BLD token goes live. And then the MetaPass itself will actually have a passive yield of BLD tokens. As a MetaPass holder, you'll receive a passive yield from the MetaPass itself and from the actual Gen 0 bear. So the Gen 0 bears will have a passive yield of BLD while staked or unstaked. You won't even need to actually participate in the game ecosystem to earn BLD with the Gen 0 bears. Similarly, the MetaPass will entitle you to another source of BLD passive yield without even entering the gaming ecosystem. And as the gaming ecosystem continues to grow and more layers are introduced, you'll be able to also stack and stake those bears to earn further yield higher than your base yield that's earned. So there's a whole bunch of different utility, along with we will actually be hosting giveaways for prize pools of ETH, BLD tokens, one-of-one NFTs, exclusive offers in the marketplace, all of which will only be available to our original MetaPass holders. And this will be the only MetaPass collection. As more collections are introduced into the gaming ecosystem, this will be the one and only MetaPass. So it pretty much gets you pre-sale access to every collection that comes after this one, while giving you a free mint and an additional airdrop of BLD tokens, gives you another yield farming source and access to exclusives within the game ecosystem.
And this is all on Ethereum layer 1, or are you guys having launching on a layer 2, or what other ecosystem?
Yeah, so Matt would be able to answer a little bit more about this. I know we're on the Ethereum blockchain. We've been experimenting, implementing a layer 2 solution. We have not made a decision yet. The issue with some layer 2 solutions, as let's say like Polygon, being someone that's played so many play to earn games like Wolf Game, Wizards and Dragons, Etherorks, I've played almost all of them myself, and sometimes transacting on the Polygon network or on some layer 2s can be difficult for people that aren't familiar with it, needing to add Polygon to the wallet to pay the nominal fees, or needing to move things from ETH onto a layer 2 ecosystem if we don't mint on there, or if we do mint on there.
Were you able to speak?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Matt.
Oh, cool. Good.
You want to take over this question?
Sure.
Welcome back.
Thank you. That's what to everyone. That's why I love Parker so much. Within a very short window of time, he's got his head around literally every intricacy of the project. So I appreciate you stepping in there, Parker, while I was away in the wilderness. We have explored layer 2. There's really only one that we feel would be seamless enough, as sort of Parker was highlighting there. There are layer 2 solutions that are far too clunky for a good game experience. We naturally have the developments in Ethereum with F2 coming, at some point this year, which will help with that. There's also a lot you can actually do with the contracts. Our developers developed our NFT tokens, our ERC 721s with a 30 to 40% reduction in gas over other projects just by rewriting the contract. So there are other things you can do to mitigate gas issues, but it's high on the radar as something that we need to explore as the game ecosystem expands. But we also have to think about, where the volume is. We need to make sure there's no friction, and we need to make sure that whatever we do always results back in value to holders. It doesn't always make sense to be on L2 if there's no volume there, because then our holders may not have the liquidity to sell, or they may not have the ability to get into more and stake and so forth. So we have to think about that. But it is being considered for sure in a sort of long-winded way of answering that, just purely based on what makes the most sense for the gameplay and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a question that like all projects, including ours here at Panda Paradise, are like actively looking into, because gas is such a top of mind issue for the entire Ethereum city ecosystem.
It is, and it's, I saw Zen Rossi ask a question. IMX is the main one we're considering in terms of a frictionless move, just to answer that question. In the AMA questions channel. That is the most frictionless one in my experience, for sure. But yeah, gas is top of mind for everyone. It only becomes less of a challenge when you're able to build so much value into a project that the holders, when they look to extract or make moves with their tokens or exchange them for any meaning of value then, or any measure of value, that the gas is so much lower than the actual value of the token. So there's two ways to tackle it. I mean, if we just focus our efforts on increasing value in the project by the things that we're going to do over the long term, gas will become less of an issue because of the value of the project. But for sure, IMX has been highlighted there is the one that we are and have been looking at. So we'll continue to monitor it. And the pace this industry moves in, we've just got to keep our eyes open, because solutions are sort of flying at us as we sort of explore deeper.
I remember when I asked you privately about your exploration of IMX, that they haven't responded to you yet. How long ago did you reach out to them?
Late last year. I'd have to check when the devs did that, but late last year. You've been waiting for quite a while. It would be December. I would say mid-December, but most likely. It's only a new iteration because we never really thought about, we didn't ever really sort of think about moving on to a layer 2. And then obviously we take note of other projects and what they're doing and the great work that Furballs are doing with their timekeeper. So it was something that sort of was brought to our attention there. The great thing about IMX is that you use the exact same contracts. So there's no additional work really other than actually engaging with IMX and getting permission to develop and test. So we've not heard anything, but we're also still exploring other avenues.
Yeah, to give some context, we applied ourselves for, I think, because we were looking to expand our second collection in the IMX L2. And we reached out to them a month ago. And then I was having a conversation with another community manager. And she recommended to me that since it's already been 2 weeks at that time that I discussed it with her, it was appropriate for us to, give them another ping and say, hey, we emailed you 2 weeks ago. Just wanted to check in kind of thing. So it seems like you guys are approaching that point now since, it's already January 2nd. So I would, share that same advice and, give another email to them. I think that would be appropriate.
Send another ping over. Yeah, no, that's good advice, and we'll do that for sure. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and also I think for the same reason, the Polygon network, I'm just super interested in learning more about that as a layer 2 solution, since it's still using Solidity, the same smart contracts, and it's already integrated with OpenSea. So like that's a great point for it. So it remains to be seen which L2 will be dominant in taking market share and taking the volume. Yeah, just interesting to talk about. Anyways.
Yeah, it is. I think for me, it's got to be frictionless. That's the main thing. And I've had a torrid time bridging with Polygon. And I think most people, we're going to see a massive influx of new retail interests when Coinbase's NFT platform drops. So I would say the less friction, the better. And who knows? Because I think if I'm not mistaken, Coinbase are heavy investors in IMEX. So I guess we'll have to watch this space to see whether or not something happens there. But that's my personal opinion that something will probably happen there, which is again one of the reasons to look at IMEX. And as Zen Rossi points out, and I'm guessing you picked up an accent, they are Australian. So maybe I'll get some favoritism from them.
Yeah, I mean, I've listened to their founder talk on several AMAs, including Bankless and Sushi Swap, and he's an amazing guy. I love his values, the way he aligns himself. So that leads me to my next question. What are some of the principles you guys live by and wish to set as expectations for your community?
So this is actually put a post up in our Discord. So anyone that joins, I think you'll see that in our updates or most recent announcement. But we're looking to try to create 3 pillars for the community moving forward. It's something that I've done in business I've been involved in, and in that, obviously, trust and transparency is critical for me personally, and I think it's so important for this space. So whenever we do anything, it may not come across as we're sort of always aiming for the biggest hype up. We just want transparency. We share sneak peeks. If we get things wrong, we'll announce that. We've pivoted a couple of times as we learn. And so for us, it's just about building in the open. So transparency and trust and honesty. Integrity is a massive one for me. But honestly, everything has to be underpinned by a core value of delivering value to those that are invested or that are stakeholders of the project. Every decision that we make has to be based entirely around that. Because otherwise, we'll be making moves that aren't necessarily in line with what the community might feel. So if we always underpin any decision we make as a founding team, community team, based on what the community actually wants and extract that feedback from them, then we've got a far greater chance of every single time we make an update or make an improvement or pivot or iterate, it's always going to be with the community's backing. So for me, that's going to be absolutely critical moving forward. How can we get the community more engaged in terms of what we're doing and help us make those decisions? It's something that I've done in my previous life in SaaS and technology. You always look to get feedback before you make any big moves. So for us, how can we deliver value at every stage to holders and believers in the project? Openness, honesty, and transparency. There are sort of 3 or 4 key pillars in terms of every decision we make, which we'll move forward with.
So you said openness, honesty, and what was the third one?
Openness, honesty, and transparency, and underpinned by delivering value to the community and holders. So every single decision we make is about, well, what does the community actually want? Have we got that information from them? Is this going to deliver value to their investment, I guess, in us as a project and as a team? And is it going to be something that's fun to be around and fun to play with and enjoyable to be a part of?
Cool. Yeah, integrity is also one of our core values here at Panda Paradise. We have 5 community values that I'm cooking in the background. I haven't really discussed it in great detail yet with my community members here, but it's going to be a proposal that we put up on Snapshot for our community values, which include integrity. And so definitely agree with you there about how necessary it is in this industry, because when it comes down to it, underneath all the technological layers, the crypto is about people and that trust layer. Also, your pillars remind me of something that in Ray Dalio's book Principles, the radical transparency. I think that captures the spirit of what you're building over there. So that's really awesome. And so my next question. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's something that I don't know. I can't see a way of doing anything other than just being transparency and engaging with the community. As you say, I mean, it's probably the most, crypto and NFTs is probably the most bottom-up industry I've seen. Projects are made entirely based on the interest and the love of that project by the community, and I just can't see any other way of doing it in this space. It does take some adaptation when you sort of jump headfirst in and figure all of that out, but everyone I speak to, and I've got plenty of advisors I chat to and people that I just chuck ideas at, and I don't know, there's just transparency. Sure, people could run away with the idea that you come up with, but at the end of the day, if we're not grabbing feedback and being open about what we're doing, I don't think we can possibly build something long term. Sure, you can hype something up, maybe flip it, But for us to build foundations of something that will last, this year, next year, the year after, you can't possibly do that without the community really leading it from a bottom-up perspective. So it's core to everything that I do as an individual, and certainly core to the project. And I know everyone in the project team's very much aligned with that.
And Matt, and if I could add on what you were just saying, I think along with integrity, it's really just also this principle of longevity, right? Like it's so simple to spend enough money to pay enough influencers to put 100,000 people in a Discord and just sell the project out, right? With the way that the ecosystem of NFTs is right now, it's just like such a hype and quick flip filled
and energy.
Yeah, like everything.
Energy.
The whole thing is just all about everyone just buying and selling, buying who's got the most hype, who has the biggest influencer posting this. And in all reality, 98% of NFT projects that we're talking about today will be nothing more than an afterthought or a memory in 2 years. And it feels weird because we're caught up in the middle of it, and all these big hyped drops were like, these projects are huge, the scale of what they're going to do is huge, but if you don't have longevity built in to your code, for lack of a better word, and the people that you're building the community with and the team that you're building with and values that you're laying the foundation with, if your foundation isn't strong, you can't build to the heights that will be necessary to withstand the test of time. And that's honestly going to be the biggest test, is as mass adoption comes into the NFT world and as billions of people are added every year, and this becomes a $100 billion industry or even $1 trillion industry in the near future, what projects are still going to be around? And that's what we really want to focus on, is building something that's going to actually withstand over the long term, because it's really the standard of projects out there right now is just not high enough to last over the course of years or even over the course of 6 months. That's really where we want to find our pinnacle differences and lay the foundation strong enough to continue to grow over time.
Completely agreed. And wow, yeah. The state of the industry is very weird to look at right now. And I think any like crypto veterans from the 2017 ICO era, like we see the similar trends, the similar patterns with these pump and dump schemes that are, emergent in the NFT industry. And the cycle moves a lot faster. So, okay. So moving into my next question, what you guys actually already covered most of it. And so what did you guys like about the Wolf Game tokenomic model, and what did you dislike? And other risk games like these?
I think for me personally, I'm sure obviously Parker has his own opinion. I liked the novelness of it. I liked that, again, what we're seeing in the space is an individual, the shepherd, is able to create something that pushes the boundaries even further. So there's been lots of copycats, lots of clones, in true NFT fashion, obviously. The whole white paper, everything was published, so it was super easy for everyone to literally copy-paste even just the text in the white paper. But he pioneered a push that we've started to see NFT gaming back end of last year. I know there's been things like Axie that are around and so forth, but he started to push the boundaries. I personally love the risk aspect of it myself. We have a risk aspect to our ecosystem, but I really love that because it's suddenly created this us versus them sort of gaming mentality, which is in pretty much every sort of gaming environment, whether it's Warcraft or whatever it is. So the risk component was probably my favorite. Outside of that, I just love that one individual was able to entirely, change the shape of the landscape like coming up with something completely innovative and new in terms of the way that you use the tokens and collections. And I just, it's mind-boggling how much change can happen out of one individual innovation, and that's why I love this space.
Yeah, it's amazing. I felt the same way when I heard about this model. So I was like, wow, this can be done. But go ahead, Parker.
I was going to say, I'd have to agree with pretty much everything Matt said. I mean, it was truly like, you know, a first of its kind, and paved the way for a whole new subsection of NFTs and a whole new application, right? Everyone just thinks of NFTs as digital art, and we're just going to continue to see so many novel uses for NFTs, whether it be in the gaming ecosystem or even in applications for real world assets, verifying things and real estate and everything. It's going to continue to expand so much, and it really was the first of its kind. And I think that, you know, there were aspects of it that could be improved, but as with everything that is so novel, I still play the game. I still am earning and continuing to. I'm not really adding to my wolf pack. I only have wolves, but I'm not adding, and I'm also not selling. So I still believe in the game. I still enjoy the ecosystem they've created, and I think that it can be improved upon. But in terms of the tokenomics and in terms of the actual game mechanics, it really was quite well done, and it can be replicated very easily in terms of how Matt said, with everything being out there and available. But to create the community and to create the volume that they have is truly, it's remarkable. And it's what we are aspiring to do. And, you know, Matt sent me a message even just 2 days ago with the floor prices of all the wolves and the floor prices of the different in-game characters and just the volume that they've been doing and everything. And it was just like, he's like, you know, these are our goals. These are the levels that we want to reach. And I would just say I'm a fan of the game. I'm a fan of the ecosystem they've created, and I hope to replicate it even to a higher level of execution by being able to learn from mistakes that they and other games have made along the way, and to be able to put our own novel ideas into the application as well.
Not sure if you guys noticed the question from the text channel. Will you be moving into a 3D modeled gaming character, or will it stay as a 2D pixel art?
I don't know how much alpha we can share here, but there is going to be a significant expansion of the ecosystem. We've used that word a few times now, and there is going to be a significant expansion of that. And I guess the only thing I can sort of say is there will be additional characters and additional collections that may or may not be entirely different artwork that will be incorporated into the ecosystem. So, you know, we're focused very much on, you know, Bloodshed as a brand, and the Bloodshed Bears are the first of our brand, with the MetaPass being the underpin exclusive collection, if you will. But the plan over the long term, because as we've mentioned a few times now, we're not looking to build, this isn't just the first and only thing we're going to be doing, is to introduce different collections with different types of artwork. And, you know, that may be, you know, super high quality 3D work like we've seen with the PA collection. It could be, you know, cartoon sort of PFPs like we see with, like, you know, the Amazing Lazy Lions and so forth. We've just got to find a way to integrate them all together and how they can interact and gameplay with each other. So we haven't made any decisions around whether or not we're just going to extend what the Bloodshed Bears look like in terms of EX work or something like that. But certainly in terms of the future and different types of artwork connecting and working with each other, very much in concept level with us at the moment.
Okay, well, that answers all the questions that I had personally for you guys. I'm going to open up the floor to anybody to step up and raise their hand if they wanted to speak and ask any questions to the founders of the Bloodshed Bears. You guys are welcome to join us. See, we have a smaller crowd today than usual. Welcome, Azoni. Also, Matt or Parker, if you guys have any other comments or like interesting tidbits that you want to share with us, like or tell us about the... I think because I just read the white paper again last night to like update myself for this conversation. I don't remember reading much about the Treehouse collection or the token generator. So tell me all about that.
Yeah, so we've got multiple collections that will form the expandability of the Bloodshed Bears game, essentially. So things like the Treehouse is really where we've got our sort of unique stacking mechanism, if you will. So when you mint a Treehouse, and all of our, and one thing I should say is that all of our collections are upgradable. So depending on what you do in the game and depending on things that you secure or acquire in a marketplace with the BLD token, you'll be able to upgrade each individual token. The upgradable levels will either equal an increase in yield multiplier, or you might increase your stacking capability of the Treehouse. So the Treehouse is kind of where you I guess build your own micro empire as a holder of our tokens. So you can then yield more BLD with owning a Treehouse and staking it. You'll be able to acquire our token generators, which will increase your yield multiplier. You'll be able to acquire defense mechanisms, which will help you with the risk play. So there'll be additional token collections that will drop later on, which you'll be able to acquire with the BLD token. So everything that we've done has been built around separate collections that can interconnect with each other and can also be upgraded. We're going to have a marketplace that will essentially allow you to acquire different items with the BLD token, which you can then use to upgrade your own little sort of micro ecosystem and yield more tokens. The marketplace itself is kind of cool in that we'll be looking to partner with different projects. So we'll be the first project, if you will, that would look to leverage our BLD token to allow you to secure or acquire items or collections or whitelist spots outside of our own individual collection. So we sort of want an in-game ecosystem as well as an out-of-game ecosystem, which, one of the things that Parker mentioned around some of the problems that Wolfgang were looking to solve, and that was that nowhere near as much of the wall token was actually yielded or was actually claimed. So then he created the purse or the pouch as a way to distribute that. So we just want to implement more mechanics or more initiatives that create more desire to spend the BLD token. And that will be us going out there and acquiring, we could acquire NFTs from, big projects, and we can have a bidding mechanism with the BLD token and so forth. So that's all being worked on at the moment on the website, but that's another item, I guess, that we haven't even discussed. And we'll continue to expand on the collections and new items, new upgradability and that sort of stuff.
Great. Okay. And so we have the 48-hour window for the Panda Paradise holders. And it doesn't have to be necessarily the people in this room. So I'll post a link, whatever way we have to get on the whitelist. I'll put that in the DAO announcements channels for that 48-hour window. And so after that period, how soon is that to the mint date for the MetaPass collection?
Mint's going to be within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Everything's essentially ready. We're just fine-tuning a couple of things because it is a standalone collection, but very soon. And we'll announce 48 hours ahead of time so that everyone's got plenty of time to sort of position themselves and get aligned with the time zone. So if you're securing your whitelist, just keep notifications on Twitter or our Discord, and we'll announce at least 48 hours prior to the actual drop date.
Great. Okay. And I'll keep tabs on this too for our community, so you guys don't have to worry too much about the record keeping. You guys know I'm good for that.
We do. And look, I'll obviously any updates that would be worth sharing with your community. Naturally, we'll send them through to yourself, Lam, or drop them in the general chat or so forth, just so everyone's sort of kept in the loop.
Hey, we appreciate that. Okay, and so it doesn't seem that we have anybody who wants to speak today. But I wanted to thank you guys for coming on. It's been an amazing conversation. I've learned a lot. And if you guys have anything else that you wanted to touch on before we wrap it up, the floor is yours.
Just as sort of Parker said at the beginning, it's the Panda Paradise is a awesome community, and we aren't ashamed or embarrassed to say there's certain communities that we look upon and aspire to, or different projects that we look upon and aspire to and try to sort of learn from. So this is absolutely one. I think the founding team here is awesome, and we really appreciate the opportunity to have the floor for 49 minutes of everyone's time. And look, we're like all projects, we're on Discord 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So feel free to fire any questions in there if you didn't sort of have any top of mind right now, and jump on the website and keep an eye on our announcements. But we appreciate the opportunity to have a chat and speak about our project.
And if I could just add on to that, Matt, I think we're really excited to move forward with all this. And, we know that we have a product. We just really need to focus on building a strong community. And part of the reasons why we felt so inclined to give away whitelist spots to this community and encourage members of this community to also get involved with our project, because as we are all well aware, it's so crucial that the backbone that you build of your community is very strong, and we are excited to bring as many of your members as are interested over into our community and treat them the best that we can, and also just continue to expand outwards from not only this community but from every other community that we come into contact with. And as Matt said, we're both very reachable, so if you guys have any other questions or you want any further information on anything, or you're struggling to find something out, or for whatever the reason might be, just feel free to reach out to us whenever. And we just want to say thanks again for having us in here, and hopefully this is the start of a long and prosperous relationship between our two communities, and we can continue to help one another get to the next level and withstand that test of time. So yeah, thanks again for having us.
It was such a pleasure. And with that, we're wrapping up, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and have a pleasant rest of your day or evening. Lem out. Take care.